So I'm going to try and fit the new brake valve. Yeah, the smell's horrible, the floor's rotten and crumbling apart. Absolutely fucked, or at least this section is. I say main alley and fiberglass body's still good, so I'll remake the cab, floor sections, and we'll use the doors as a datum point because they don't shut properly at the minute. So once I stretch this to where it needs to be so the doors shut nicely, I know it's right. It could be it'll be a mix of it sagging with age and rot, and the fact that the big hammer hit the back of the cab before. I'll take a little close-up video of that so you can see what I mean. I did show it in the last video, but it probably wasn't the best. For the one under here, I'm sure you're meant to remove the pedal, but I didn't bring a hammer with me, so I can get it out half a turn at a time, which is what I'm going to do. And then it should just fall off the bottom. So I managed to get all 3 bolts that hold the brake valve on out of the old brake valve, but you can see the old hoses are that stiff. I can't actually wrestle it down. I was hoping to be able to pull it down and then unscrew it at a better height, but no, look at that, absolutely fucking solid. So plan is undo the ones I can get to, and hopefully that'll then give me enough flexibility to pull it down a little bit. The white one's still okay. I'm pretty sure that's for the engine retarder. And whilst I'm under here, you can see the the substructure of the cab where it bolts to the frame is rather rotten. Obviously Arab spec truck, so plywood floor. In the UK it's just rotted out and obviously held moisture as well, which has allowed the steel to rot out, but I'll sort that. And there's the missing headlight switch for dip and main. I'll probably move that up to the stalk, or maybe onto the dash, I don't know. I'm going to fit big LED light bars anyway behind the grille, so they'll be on a separate switch. I'm probably going to give this another half hour because it's 6 PM in the UK as I'm doing this, and then I'm going to call it a day and possibly come out tomorrow with some more tools. I brought what I thought I needed and it wasn't quite everything, so yeah. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but not going quite as smoothly as I'd liked either. Anyway, back to fucking about with these. So I've got 2 off and another couple loose, but as you can see I've sort of brought the wrong length 3/4 inch wrench or spanner, whatever you want to call it, with me. And I could really do with a different style of adjustable. I've got some side jaw ones which would be much better for getting up in there, and that bigger one there is a 13/16, which I didn't realise it had on, so I'm going to have to come back and and free them off, but the bulk of the 3/4 inch fittings are coming off slowly but surely. That will be, there's that one, that one's loose, although I don't actually need to take that one off because I should be able to just drop it down. And then there's one on this side, on the passenger side as it were, and then the others are 13/16. But hopefully that means it'll all come apart. There's a 5/8 fitting there as well, so I need to bring down a 5/8 wrench with me. Yeah, it's the only issue with the truck being half a mile from the workshop. Can't always bring everything you need with you, no matter how well you think you've planned. Well, I've managed to get a few more off with the adjustable, and that's allowed me to wrestle it down a bit, so hopefully for the remaining ones I can pull it out towards me and take them off that way. I'm going to pull that one off now because that's the last 3/4 inch I think, and then tomorrow, so I'll get the 13/16 out and I can undo the two on that side, the one on that side, and bring the valve back to the workshop. I'll put all the fittings in with new Teflon sealer and bring it back down, put it back together, and hopefully that's it. I'm going to put the brake valve back on with some ARP bolts because I've got some nice stainless ARP ones, the right thread, the right length, and it does mean I can actually get a socket onto the central one. As you can see, I've folded up the floor a bit to get in there better. That just allowed me to get the adjustable in from the top, so I could undo a couple more lines. And yeah, I will have to check what goes where when I pull the other one off for supply and delivery. For some reason I can't reach it at the minute, but that line there looped around from that port round to the top port over there. So no idea what that was for, but it's going to go back together as it was because that's how it's been for 1981, 41 years. That's how it's been, so that's how it can stay. Well, it's out. I don't know if this was the cause, possibly not, could still be the pedal, but yeah, all the rubber on this is really badly perished. There's a load of crusty shit underneath this diaphragm as well, and let's face it, it definitely wants replaced, regardless of whether this has been sticking or the pedal's been sticking. Only ended up breaking one fitting as well, which is quite good. I'll just throw a blanking plug in there to move it, because I think that little one is for the I'm pretty sure that's for the engine retarder, so I'm not too worried about that yet. I know the front brakes have also been blanked off, so I may just put a plug in the front brake port as well, and then when I replumb the front brakes with new airline, I'll obviously swap the plug out for one of these adapters again. But the hose on the front brake line is just perished to the point where it's not letting air pressure build up and release the brakes, hence they've just been clamped off. So I think it was Mike that said on the previous video it was probably the plunger, and yeah, he was right. Taking it out, back in the shop now, and that is just stuck solid. I've managed to knock it through a little bit with the hammer, and I'll drift it out fully, clean it all up, and hopefully it'll work smoothly again. If not, these don't cost much new, so worst case scenario, I'm going to buy a new pedal assembly. But for the minute, with parts as much, well, with steel and other materials as much as they are for building the rest of the truck, I'm going to try and save money where I can by reusing original parts. So that's it all apart now. Took me a while. That main pin was just seized in. See the split pin, focus, oh sorry, the roll pin had snapped at some point and wasn't really doing anything. It was just rust and age that was holding it together. That's all seized in. So before I go home, I'm just going to knock that out if it will come, or I'm going to leave it soaking in a vat of WD-40 overnight. We'll see. Well, mystery solved. It came apart. Just drifted out with a brass punch in the end. So I'm going to clean all this up and polish that and reassemble tomorrow. Hopefully it functions as it should. And at the same time, I'll finish off swapping all the gear off that brake valve onto the new one. So I repainted the pedal. It's now orange and black. It was silver, like the base plate. So, there we go. So it's now the nicest looking part of that Kenworth. I'll reassemble it fully once it's in the truck. So reassembled it, obviously clean painted. That now does operate. It's just obviously on the valve. There's a bit of resistance. I've reused the original fittings, but they'll be coming out once I buy some new ones. The whole thing's going to have to come apart again anyway when I lift the cab off and when I redo the airlines. But this way, as I can just reuse these. They're sealed tight, so I put sealant around them, and they'll do just for getting the truck down to the yard. Once it's here and I start doing the airlines, pop these out, get some nice new ones, or at least take them out, run them with the wire wheel, and then onto the polisher. But I may not keep the same fitting styles depending on what style airlines I get next. It's on braided JIC fittings. Don't really need that. It's not a desert truck anymore. So I may just put standard BSP fittings on it instead. That really does not look correct in here. All held in with nice ARP bolts from the to the valve anyway. I'll replace these with ARPs as well, but it's got to come out again when I take the cab off, so wasn't really too bothered about digging out some more bolts that would match. I'll sort that when it comes to final assembly. Valves in, gonna put the hoses back on, and then hopefully see if it will build and hold air. I don't know how good these ends are now that I've cracked them off and the rust is all gone. Well, that's one oil filter off. Second one's now loose. It's taken me fucking ages. These haven't been off since the engine was new, probably. This one was all corroded, and to sort of jerry rig it onto, or to get it to drive onto the trailer, it was covered with body filler in a bag, which stopped the leaking, but it's made it a nightmare to get off. I've broken one filter wrench strap, one filter strap wrench so far, and yeah, just persevered. So I kept putting it back together. In pieces again rather. But yeah, this is loose now. Got to fit new filters. Got a pair of genuine cat ones to go back on. Stick some oil in it, just to replace what the filters have lost. Stick some water in it. Fire it up and try and build air pressure. See if the brake pedal and new brake valve works. You can just see it up in there, the new one. And I've noticed that I'm missing 3 exhaust studs from this side, so odds are they've rotted out into the head, and I'm gonna have to drill them out as well. Yeah, this is turning into a little more in-depth project than I wanted, but the fenders have to come off, which will give me good access to them. I'm probably going to source a new set of 3408 manifolds, may even see if I can get a twin turbo set, and yeah, see, drill the studs out, replace them with stainless studs and copper and some copper nuts, just so this doesn't happen again. That's the pair of them off. Definitely not the nicest condition. Smells old as well. So as soon as it's back at the shop, it's going to get an oil change. I've got another set of filters, so I'll swap the filters out again, and so put some fresh oil in, because that's just disgusting now. Pitch black, and it doesn't feel too good either. Moment of truth. No. There we go. It's away. Throttle sticks. I pulled it back a little bit too quickly and it just cut out. Try again. There we go. Got about 90 pounds of oil pressure. I'm now going to hope the air starts to build. I've got to keep an eye on the water because it's coming out as fast as you put it in. Oh, it fucking stinks in here. Bottom radiator hose is shot. I'm not going to run it for too long, but brake pedal's back. It's not built any air yet, but it's only been running for about 2 minutes. This diesel fumes are fucking horrible in here. stinging my eyes, so I'm just going to knock it off now. Or hopefully. Uh-oh. There we go. Oh, that's better. Oh, that is grim in here. Oh. I think we'll end this.